Hey everybody, Brent back with you. Happy President's Day to each and every one of you. Hopefully you're able to have a nice 3-day weekend. Maybe you got today off. Me, not so much. Traveling once again. Needed today to be a travel day so I can hit the ground running tomorrow morning. But wanted to get a video out today, seemed to be fitting, to show some of my pre-war presidential cards. In particular, there's two presidents that you'll see predominantly, but there'll be a couple of other ones that are kind of unique and fun. Actually, there's a few of them that are pretty unique. Maybe you haven't seen them. Anyways, pretty cool collection of pre-war presidential stuff that I want to show you. So without ado going any further, let's turn the camera around and let's look at them.
Oh, hail to the chief! Hail to the chief! Rum dum da dum dum da 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 da. Rum dum ti da rum ti rum da dum da da.
407 years ago, our forefathers brought forth on this.
All right, so I guess I should have given a disclaimer and a warning that you're actually going to learn something in this video. You might even learn a couple things, and I don't want to belabor the length of this video, but I feel behooved to tell you the story of a couple of these cards and these individuals. And the first one is the first one I'm going to show you. If I were to tell you right now that I'm going to show you the rookie card, a Lincoln rookie card, your mind would probably be blown. But it's not Abraham Lincoln. It's his son, Robert Todd Lincoln. And this is an N-124 Duke & Sons Presidential Possibilities. This is from 1888. And around this time, he was rumored to be potentially one of the people to run for president. He never put a campaign together. He was at one time, he served both as the U.S. Secretary of War and the U.S. Ambassador to Great Britain. He was the only child of four of Abraham Lincoln and Mary Todd Lincoln to survive the parents. They had 4 kids. 3 of them died before President Lincoln was even assassinated. So it's crazy that he was the only son to outlast the lives of his parents. He served as Secretary of War under James Garfield and continued under Chester A. Arthur, and he was a minister to Great Britain in the Benjamin Harrison administration. But the story I want to tell you is crazy, and I didn't know about this until I started doing some research on him. Okay, so everybody knows that his father, Abraham Lincoln, was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth. But did you know that Robert Lincoln was once saved from possible serious injury or death by Edwin Booth, whose brother was John Wilkes Booth? So this guy's father, the person that assassinated him, his brother. This event took place on a train platform in Jersey City in New Jersey. The exact date is uncertain, but is believed to have taken place in late 1863 or early 1864, before John Wilkes Booth's assassination of President Lincoln. In a letter written in 1909, Robert Lincoln recalled what happened that day. And basically what happened is he fell between the train and the platform, and his body was almost crushed. And the person that pulled him up and gave him secure footing on the platform was Edwin Booth. Robert Lincoln was quoted in saying, "Upon turning to thank my rescuer, I saw it was Edwin Booth, whose face, of course, was well known to me, and I expressed my gratitude to him, and in doing so, called him by name." Months afterwards, while serving on Grant's U.S. Army staff, Robert Lincoln recalled the occurrence to a colonel. And before receiving the letter, Booth had been unaware that the man whose life he had saved on the train platform was the president's son. The knowledge of whom he had saved that day was said to have been of some comfort to Booth following his brother's assassination of the president. So that's crazy. Just the connection that this guy was saved by the brother of the person that killed his father. So that's just, almost like Inception level of, history and just a weird, crazy connection that I never knew existed. So there's your little presidential factoid. But yeah, look up Robert T. Lincoln and Edwin Booth if you want to have maybe some more details of the story. Anyways, moving on. From 1900, this is a French card of Theodore Roosevelt. And I love the detail of this card. They did a bunch of different around the world. They did their like the capital here, like Parliament in London, different countries, seats of governments, and who the acting leader, president, premier, prime minister was. And of course, early 1900s, it was Theodore Roosevelt. Beautiful back. Look at that. Just a gorgeous card. So really happy to have that. We're going to have a few Teddy Roosevelt, so hunker down, kids. He's my favorite president, by the way, so it kind of makes sense. This is absolutely one of my favorite cards of his, one of the favorites in my collection, at least from the non-sports world. Look at this. 1900s Chocolat Poulain. I love it that shows him with the Rough Riders. Rough Riders in Cuba. I don't know French, but I figured that out on my own. Just a fantastic, and it's actually embossed, and I don't know if you can tell. I'm going to turn this a bunch of different angles, but there's embossment right here, and I'm going to turn it to the back. You can see it for sure. See that? What a gorgeous card, front and back. But this is embossed, beautiful card. Don't see these very often. Jumped on this when I saw it on eBay. Oh gosh, I think I've had this for a couple years now. Don't think I've ever shown it on the channel. I think I've shown it in my Instagram page. But just a fantastic, fantastic card. Next we have 1901 Ogden cigarettes. President Roosevelt. Just a fantastic image of him. This is his 1901 inauguration. In front of the American flag right there. President Roosevelt making a speech. This is from the general interest set. Just a ton of cards in the general interest set of Ogden's. Just a fantastic set. Obviously very sensitive with the black borders, so I will gladly take an authentic any day of the week. From 1902 Ogden cigarettes, general interest, so the year later, we have another President Roosevelt looking stately with his monocle and his gold watch chain. Very stately. A little more information on the back. He's got a back history, Harvard man and cowboy, Assistant Secretary of the Navy, and Colonel of the Rough Riders, historian, zoologist, etc. Just a fascinating study. I've read a couple books on President Roosevelt, and he's firmly entrenched as my all-time favorite president. I don't know if I'm able to get all these in here. Another one from the 1902 general interest of Roosevelt is President Roosevelt taking a high jump. Look at that. He's in action. The days when you could have a president that was actually mobile and fit. Like, anyways. Just back when presidents were heroes and someone you could look up to. Taking a high jump. I don't know if this was during his presidency, so I'm sure his Secret Service or handlers, for lack of a better term, weren't very fond of the leader of the free world taking high jumps on a horse, but nobody was going to tell Teddy no. He was a very, very confident horseman, so I'm sure that helps. And then we have from 1910, the Fireside Game Company. Just a beautiful card. Look at this. 1910. So this is right after his second term as president. This is the game card. So game cards have often have a very unique and beautiful back. This is no exception. Look at this. Just a beautiful, you got the White House, and then you have the Capitol building on all four corners and in the middle. Just a beautiful card back. Look at that. My goodness. Nice image of Teddy there. Always looking good. And then something that's, I have 3 of, and I don't know if you've ever seen these before, but these are these are stereographs for a stereo viewer. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with this technology or what these were, I'll put a picture right around in here showing you what this looked like. And basically, as you can see in the image, it's used binocular type technology for taking 2 pictures, each eye focused on each one of them, but it's added depth into one picture. And this was very popular from probably like the mid 1800s to the early 1900s. These were very popular. And this is the inauguration address from his second election. So that would have been, I think, what, 1905? Yeah. And then I have 2 more. These I love. These are fantastic. So here's one of him from 1908. President Roosevelt signing bills in the White House. So this is how people just got an idea of what the president was doing. Underwood and Underwood Publishers. This is actually from Canada. Actually, yeah, let's see. They got New York, London, Toronto, Ottawa, and Kansas. Okay. So anyways, there's that one. And then I love, 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 love this one. Look at this. President and Mrs. Roosevelt and guests, noted officers and yachtsmen as Naval Review off Long Island from 1908 from the same company of Underwood and Underwood. What's cool about this one, in addition to this amazing picture, actually I'll hold it here so you can enjoy, is the fact of all of this text on the back. So these are cool. These, not just looking through them, but you'd actually add facts on the back, giving a backstory of what you were looking at. So if you want to pause that, you can always read that if you'd like. But those are fantastic. And then the last of the Roosevelt chain here is interesting. So I showed you President Lincoln's son, but did you know that Teddy Roosevelt had a famous son as well? From the 1933 National Chicle, or Chicle, as you will, Quentin Roosevelt from the Skybird set in a beautiful VGEX4. Did you know the son of former President of the United States Quentin Roosevelt was all that could be desired in a red-blooded American youth, member of the Kicking Mule Squadron, shot down by bullets from a German plane in a dogfight far beyond the German lines. He greatly liked to stay out late after his squadron came in, hoping to fight it out with a tardy German returning home. So he had a lot of that Rough Rider spunk fighting in World War I. Just a fantastic looking card. Great set, by the way. If you're not familiar, I know you're familiar with the Diamond Stars and the football version of National Chicle, but they also did they've done other non-sports in the Skybird set. I have, I think, 4 or 5 from this set. I should do a video on them someday. Just fantastic. Just a fantastic set. And this is Theodore Roosevelt's son, Quentin Roosevelt. All right. And then the last 2 are of another president who was also one of my favorite presidents. And this is indeed a rookie card, but not of when he was presidential, but when he was just coming on the scene in Hollywood as an up-and-coming actor. That's right. This is, actually, you know, I take that back. Spoiler alert. This, you didn't see that card. This is his rookie card. 1939 Bridgewater film stars. Look at that young, dapper Ronald Reagan. Good-looking dude. And on the back, nothing to see on the back here, But let's give this card a little more due. This is the rookie card of Ronald Reagan. Just a fantastic looking card from 1939, Film Stars Bridgewater set. And then, pretend you didn't see it, this is another card of his that I've picked up. This is from 1947, Turf Cigarettes, hand cut. I actually have a Frank Sinatra, and I'm trying to think who else I have. Somebody else from this set. The Frank Sinatra is his rookie. But this is a fantastic, and actually I have a full non-cut carton graded as well. That I'll show in another video. I'm gonna have a non-sports kind of showcase one of these days, but I wanted to keep it presidential today, so that's why you're seeing Ronald Reagan in a couple of these cards. So a couple of the Gipper before he got political. There you go. Mr. Ronald Reagan. So there you go. This is my presidential showcase of some beautiful Theodore Roosevelt, Ronald Reagan, and Robert T. Lincoln cards. So I will leave you with another view of probably my favorite out of this entire set. And I wish you all a happy President's Day, and we'll see you later. Thanks. Bye.